Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having a Gemini sun and a Sagittarius Ascendant in a natal chart. Now, this combination, it could be very mutable, very adaptable, but very restless. It could be the person of a perpetual learner, somebody that has that restless Sun in Gemini nature, and perhaps satisfies this restlessness through Sagittarian-like things such as exploration, adventure, higher learning. This could be, when I look at this is somebody that has a more, I guess you could say, a more bold and outspoken front that covers a nature that isn't necessarily as outspoken. And when I look at this, we have to remember that the sun represents our basic wants in our chart, and the ascendant can represent how one attains these basic wants and how one goes about in getting them. And the Gemini sun basic wants can be connected with mental curiosity. It could be connected with communication. Gemini sun basic wants can be about having good conversation, about versatility, diversity, variety. And with Sagittarius Ascendant, these basic wants may be attained perhaps through philosophy, perhaps through abstract thinking, maybe even through exploration or adventure. It can be attained perhaps through college or post-high school education, studying very broad subjects. And when I look at this placement, this could be a person that that could incorporate their Gemini sun ability to communicate and perhaps something with at a Sagittarius-like field. And this could be somebody that could work as like a travel agent and be very eloquent and express everything in a very verbose manner, as far as being that travel agent, describing the locations where this person may travel. For example, could be somebody that may be able to take the Gemini, that Gemini verbosity, and maybe apply it toward some kind of philosophical endeavor or something connected with being a teacher or a professor. And really what this is about is these two signs, they're opposite in nature. They're diametrically opposed. They're both mutable signs which suggest adaptability. However, the Gemini sun is about maybe learning superficially, and you have the Sagittarius rising, which is more about broad concepts. And I think what happens is, with having the Gemini sun and the Sagittarius rising will allow the Gemini sun to learn maybe things at more of a deeper level and satisfy that inquisitive Gemini nature, and will reach out maybe a little bit further in their learnings as opposed to the average Gemini sun person. And also ability to even further expand the horizons of a Gemini sun that is already, fairly restless, I would say. So a lot of this depends on the aspects, in major aspects go, the only two that I have are, that are there, are opposition and an inconjunct. Now, let's say, for example, that the sun in Gemini is at 24 degrees and somebody has their Sagittarius ascendant at 26 degrees. Well, this would form an opposition aspect, and it's adversarial. And even if the person is not cognizant of astrology or aware of their elements in their chart, they may feel that what they're projecting as far as their outer demeanor may be strongly different than what is going on inside. And this could be a feeling of being misconstrued or misunderstood by others, and could also cause some inner tension and exasperation. And another example would be if somebody has an inconjunct aspect formed by their Sun in Gemini and Sagittarius rising. Now, the Sun in Gemini, for example, let's say it's at 1 degree and the person has a Sagittarius Ascendant at 29 degrees. This would form the out of sign inconjunct. And another example could be, let's say that somebody has the Sun in Gemini at 29 degrees and they have a Sagittarius Ascendant at 1 degree. Now this would form another out of sign inconjunct aspect, and it's like the opposition in the sense that there may be feelings of being misconstrued, misunderstood, and those feelings of not being, and having a little bit more difficulty in integrating these qualities. Now, though no major positive aspect can be made, the reality is it's just about maybe understanding the signs and finding a way to integrate them. And I think having a fundamental grasp of the signs is obviously an advantage than somebody that is not aware of astrology and what these things mean. Also, it's important to look at where the Gemini Sun is located by house position. Now, if the Gemini Sun, say, is in the 6th house, well, even though the Sagittarius rising may suppress or cloak the Gemini energy to some degree, the Gemini Sun could still figure prominently in 6th house matters, such as work, health, and diet, and this could be somebody that strives for variety and diversity in this area, and can show some restlessness and may be very loquacious regarding these subjects. Now, let's say the Gemini Sun is posited in the 7th house of relationships and partnerships. Well, the Gemini energy then can come out more in their relationships and their partnerships, and this could be a person, say, if this person ever becomes involved in some kind of litigation or lawsuit, where you'll see this person, the Gemini, that vocal Gemini Sun, could come out very strongly in that area. Now, if the Gemini Sun is posited in the 8th house, well, this person could be like one of those people that might be like a self-motivational guru, or somebody that feels that they can maybe transform themselves or even perhaps others through their tongue, through their verbiage and through their eloquence and being able to communicate very strongly. And there might be a restlessness connected with perhaps occult astrological subjects. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having the Sun in Gemini and a Sagittarius Ascendant in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about having a Gemini Sun and a Capricorn Ascendant in a natal chart. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.